Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today's case shines a light on domestic violence, denial, and dependency. A mother of 5 pleads with the court to drop charges against the father of her children, claiming he's not guilty. But with serious allegations of harm, visible injuries, and the testimony of an officer, a much darker story begins to emerge. With children involved, the judge isn't here for excuses. And to make matters worse, the defendant spends much of the hearing hiding his face. This case raises uncomfortable questions about love and the lasting damage of toxic relationships. Let's see what happens when accountability prevails.
All right. So are you ready on Corey Johnson, Ms. Hagler?
Yes, Your Honor, the state is ready. However, before the state proceeds, the victim in this case would like to give a proffer. So before we proceed,
in which case, Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor. And
all
then
right,
we'll have an announcement after that. I believe she is on the call, Ms. Woods.
All right, so this is the state of Georgia versus Corey Johnson, 2022 CR 06588 for battery family violence count 1, battery count 2, simple battery family violence count 3, simple battery count 4, and cruelty to children count 5. And go ahead, introduce your witness.
Yes, Miss, at this time, the state would like to introduce Miss Fashana Woods. We cannot see you, Miss Woods.
Yeah, Miss Woods, I need some light on your face.
You're dark.
I'm sorry.
Okay, a lot better. Is Ms. Woods, at this time, it's my understanding that you would like to put a statement on the record regarding this charge and the current charges?
Raise your right hand for me.
Oh, sorry.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Go ahead, Ms. Hagel.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Woods, it's my understanding that you would like to put a statement on the record regarding the charge on the calendar, as well as the new charge regarding Mr. Corey Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that statement? Oh, I'm sorry. Before you give that, can you please spell your first and last name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. F-A apostrophe capital S-H-A-U-N-A. Last name Woods, W-O-O-D-S.
Okay, thank you. And what information do you want to put on the record regarding these cases against Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. For both cases, I was asked how I wanted everything to play out. I did want everything to be dismissed. However, I am needing help with our children. It's taking a toll on our children. Like I just want my family back. I just want everything dismissed.
What is the relationship between you and Mr. Johnson?
It's my children's father.
Okay. And why do you want the cases dismissed against him?
Because he's not guilty. It's like it was kind of much more than what was mentioned. Other people were involved. It was just a lot. And at the time I was pregnant, it was just a lot going on. And I don't want to see him in this position. Like I said, we have 5 children and I do need help with my children and I don't have any other help. And he is the help. And we just want him back around. Like it's taking a toll on my children as well.
Okay. And you mentioned that he is not guilty. So are you saying that these charges were not true charges at the time of the incident?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying that you lied to the officers when you brought these charges? Or
I would say I wouldn't say lying. I would say that I wasn't even the one that called the police. It was actually someone that he was dating, and I had a altercation with this person, some stuff going on with this person, and that's kind of how everything played out.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions for Miss Woods.
I do. Miss Woods, you have 5 children with this gentleman?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are the children?
14, 12, 10, 3, and 2.
Okay, and y'all's relationship is not stable enough for y'all to have ever considered getting married?
Yes, ma'am. We actually been together off and on since we were 14. Like I know this man and I don't want to see him in any trouble, ma'am.
I get that, but ma'am, sometimes people can be bad and wrong, and we still love them and don't want to see them in trouble, but they're still bad and wrong. I mean, he has several cases before this court too for the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. So either y'all are a toxic relationship and shouldn't be together, or he's just something's wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you have children, you have 14-year-old, you have teenagers, people who are going to be going into relationships with other people at some point, and you and Mr. Johnson, this is the best y'all can do. But you want to let him off the hook? Let me ask you this question. If one of your kids messed up, would you just say, no, it's no big deal. Let's let him off the hook?
No, ma'am. I would talk to my child. We will find another option. It wouldn't be anything to harm his child.
And so you think holding Mr. Johnson responsible for his actions as an adult man is being harmful to him?
Ma'am,
I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the example? Like, he gets off because you're going to dismiss everything. And I know he did something. I don't know what he did, but we got two cases here, and you're telling me something happened. But you just want to let him go free, but you wouldn't do that the same thing with your kids. Mr. Johnson, uncover your face. You in a car. Yeah. So you willing to let him off the hook because you need him to help pay bills. But if your children did something wrong, you would discipline them.
Ma'am, I will treat him the same as I do my children, ma'am. Because
Obviously
I love my children and I love him. Yes, ma'am.
Because so if your children do something wrong, you're just gonna let them get away with it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then what I'm saying to you is Mr. Johnson needs some correction. Because I'm looking at this and it says battery, family violence, battery, simple battery, family violence, battery, simple battery, and cruelty to children, which means that one or more of the children that y'all share witnessed this. And I'm so tired of people thinking that kids aren't affected when they have issues in their relationship and there's raised voices, there's yelling, there's screaming, there's cussing, there's violence. That the children aren't affected, and then, oh, we need help with the bill, so let's just get back together. Because that's not you're not the only victim. Your children don't get to speak to me today, but this says that there is a minor under the age of 18 or more than one who needs to talk to me about the fact that a crime may have been committed against them.
Are they able to speak with you?
No. I'm not going to have you coerce your children into telling me they want daddy home, because there's all kinds of reasons for that. That doesn't mean daddy doesn't need to be disciplined. I'm just saying, Ms. Woods, sometimes you got to think about the quality of the relationship you're in and whether this benefits your children, not whether it benefits you, because you're grown. You've been with him and putting up with him since y'all were 14. He's been with you, putting up with you since y'all were 14, but y'all have 5 children now. And sometimes you have to determine whether this is the right relationship for your children. Not just because of a financial motive. Yeah, we need daddy back because he pays the bills. He should have to do that anyway because he's got 5 kids. He should be doing that anyway. Mr. Johnson, uncover yourself. What is wrong with you? Take the hat off. Take the scarf off. Oh, don't act like you don't hear me, because I'll find you, and then you can do that in front of me.
It's not no scarf. It's not no scarf. It's my clothes.
It's your who? What?
Mr. I can't take it off.
Well, pull it down because you keep covering your face.
This a sweater. This is not no scarf. I can't take it off. This is
Okay.
clothes.
Pull it off
This
your
is not no
face.
scarf.
Pull it off your face.
It's down.
All right, so she's put it on the record, Ms. Hagler. Go forward with the hearing.
Judge, can I ask Ms. Woods a few questions, please? Just briefly, Ms. Woods, you're aware that there are two separate cases pending where you're the named victim, and Corey Johnson is the defendant?
Yes,
Okay. Are you aware that one of these cases allegedly happened July 13th, 2021?
I don't recall the exact date, but I'm
Okay. In that case, Mr. Johnson is charged with grabbing you by your hair and forcibly pulling your hair until your hair was removed from your scalp. And earlier you stated that Mr. Johnson was not guilty. Are you saying he did not commit that act?
no.
I'm sorry, you're saying
I'm saying that he's not guilty.
and he did not commit that act.
No,
Are you aware that and he's charged with a offense that allegedly happened on the 11th day of February 22. He's charged with striking you with a closed fist about your body. Are you saying that that never happened?
no,
So is your statement that that did or did not happen?
did not.
Okay, no further questions.
Ms. Woods, please be mindful that I swore you in at the beginning of your testimony. And if the officers testified to anything or show me pictures that are different from what you testified to, you could be subject to the offense of perjury, which is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. All right, so now let's go forward.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state would like to call Officer
Mr. Johnson, I can't see you. I need to see you throughout this hearing. I need to see your face. Thank you.
Time, Your Honor, the state would like to call Officer Zany Billingsley.
Officer Billingsley.
1 second, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Hagler, are we ready on Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe Officer Billingsley is on the call. Okay, he is on. Officer Billingsley, can you please unmute your camera and your speaker device? Okay, he was on.
Out of Alabama as of 2014.
There he is. All right, Officer Billingsley, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. Ms. Hagler, your witness.
Thank you. Please state your first and last name for the record.
Officer Zany Billingsley.
And can you please spell your first and last name for the record?
First name is Zannie. Last name is Billingslea.
And how are you employed?
A police officer with Clayton County Police Department.
And were you employed with the Clayton County Police Department on February the 11th of 2022?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you respond to 240 Flint River Road, apartment 5, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30238?
Yes.
And what county is that location located in?
Clayton County.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that venue has been established.
Record shall reflect that.
Thank you. And on that date, what was the nature of the call?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
We did say February the 2nd?
February the 11th of 2022.
February the 11th, okay.
Yes. What was the nature of that call?
I would ask that the officer testify from personal knowledge unless it's been established. Remember, that's been delayed, but just look
All
at-
right, Officer Billingsley, answer the question. If you don't know, then you may be able to refresh your recollection after that.
Okay. It was dispatched as a domestic call.
Okay. Do you remember specifically what was said about that domestic call?
No, I don't have the report. I'm looking at the report as we speak. I
Okay.
got blindsided. I didn't know about the case until a minute ago.
Okay. When you arrived on the scene, do you recall making contact with any or speaking to anyone when you arrived at the location?
Did you need a moment to refresh your recollection, sir?
Yes, give me a moment.
Okay.
When you finish refreshing, just look up and let us know.
Okay. All right, Jan, I'm not able to pull up that report just yet. The report's not coming up.
All right, Ms. Engler?
1 second, Your Honor.
Is it possible for you to forward me a copy of the report?
Yes,
I
we're gonna try to forward.
was just notified about the case about 5 minutes ago, so I wasn't aware. So
Yeah, we're gonna try to forward it to you. Let me get with my investigator. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Officer Billingsley, it's one in your email.
Want an email? Okay, I
It's
check.
in your email. Mhm.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah. And Judge, I mean, you know, I do have to object. I mean, right now we're in the middle of testimony. The witness is not prepared to testify, and now he's reviewing his report before it's been established that, you know, his recollection needs refreshing.
Well, actually, sir, he did say that he needed to have his recollection refreshed because he said that up front.
Right.
That he wasn't aware of this case. When he went to look, he asked to be able to review. So he did say that. I'm sorry.
But my understanding, Judge, is that would apply to, you know, each individual question, not that, you know, he can just take time out in the middle of the hearing to just, you know.
I agree with you, sir. I definitely agree with you on that. And I'm not quite sure why we have motions on the calendar that we're not prepared for. Ms. Hager?
Your Honor, I am prepared for, and it was just a misunderstanding as far as which officers need to be contacted for the newer cases.
All right,
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. When you arrived on the scene, did you make contact with anyone?
Yes, I made contact with the victim.
What is the victim's name in this case?
The victim that I spoke with on that date.
And again, Judge, I object. I mean, he's just reading off his report, and there's no. She continues to ask questions, and his answers are just to look at the report and read it. She's not asking him if he remembers, and it's not being established that his record needs to be.
all right, Ms. Hagler, he's got to speak from his recollection, even if it's got to be refreshed. We got to get that he needs to have his recollection refreshed.
Yes, Your Honor. Officer Bensley, do you need to have your recollection refreshed as far as the name of the victim in this case?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have your report in front of you?
A Woods subject.
Okay. Do you have your report in front of you, Officer Billingsley?
Yes, I have access to the report.
Okay. Take a moment to read through, and then once you've located the victim's name, please let me know when you're ready to proceed.
Yeah, I'm ready to proceed.
Do you recall the name of the victim that you spoke with?
Woods.
And first name?
The first name, I can spell it for you.
Okay, you can spell it. That's fine.
First name Fahashauna.
Okay. And doing your investigation, what did she tell you what happened?
She stated that her live-in boyfriend, she referred to as Mr. Johnson, reside with her, and they have several children together. They live in the same location. She said they had a dispute over a cell phone, being text messages on the phone. And once she was able to unlock this phone, she saw that other females had been texting. The two got in a dispute. He became angry. At that time, he lashed out toward her, hit her in the upper body with closed hands, closed fists, and around her neck, leaving visible marks on her body. And then at that time, he took a car key and took a door key, and also left the premise. And she stated this incident occurred in front of the children.
Okay, now you said that you saw visible injuries. Where did you see the visible injuries?
Give me 1 second.
Do you need to have your memory refreshed?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Okay, so once you're done looking at your report, let me know when you're ready to proceed.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, where did you see the visible injuries?
Scratch marks up around the neck.
Okay. Did Miss Woods inform you of if she was hit anywhere else on her body besides the neck area?
She said in the stomach area. She said she was also 5 months pregnant, and she later stated that she was bleeding in her vagina.
Okay. Was medical called out on that day?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall if she was taken to the hospital on that day?
I have to refresh my memory on that, but medical.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
No, on the date in question, she declined to be transported.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned that there were children present?
Yes. And
Do
the
you
children
recall?
belong to them both. She said 3 of the kids belong to her and her boyfriend, Mr. Johnson.
Okay. Do you recall the age of the children during
Yeah,
that time?
I need a moment to refresh my memory. It's in the report, the children information. 1 second.
Okay.
Yes, I show the children age to be age 7, 11, 9, then also an infant child.
Okay. So they were all less than 18 years old?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned that something was taken from Ms. Woods. What was taken?
Key.
Okay. Were you able to determine the value of the key at that time?
She said it's just a duplicate key, so roughly $5 perhaps.
Okay. And what was this key to? What did it go to? What was it for, if you remember?
Yes, give me 1 second. Refresh my memory.
Are we still here? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, we're having some technical difficulties on my end. I don't know what this screen is.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, what was the key for?
Okay,
Or what did it
actually,
go to?
she indicated several keys, door key as well as a car key. So I had the value listed at around 150.
For both keys?
Guys,
Door key and
door key as well as the car key.
door key and car key. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I believe you said that she told you the defendant left the scene,
Yes.
so he wasn't there upon your arrival?
He was not present, correct.
Okay. And you said that the last name was Johnson. Do you recall the first name of the defendant?
The first name I can't pronounce, so I'll spell it for you.
Yes, if you can spell it for me, that'd be good.
The first name spelling Tecorey.
Okay.
Corey, perhaps.
Okay. And Officer Billingsley, do you see that name anywhere on the Zoom? If you scroll through your Zoom?
Do I see? Yes, I see the offender name on Zoom now.
Okay. Your Honor, record reflect that officer identified the defendant by name for this case.
Record shall reflect that.
Thank you. Officer Billingsley, how did you conclude your investigation?
Once I arrived on the scene and did a safety check, found the defendant wasn't there. At that time, I provided aid to the victim. Once she received aid, I got statements from her, verbal statements. They was all recorded on body camera, and made sure the children was okay. And then once I got all the information and ensured that she was okay, the victim was okay. At that time, I later took out warrants for the offender.
Okay, and what warrants did you check out for the defendant?
It'd be the battery, because that was visible signs of injury. It'd be because they were related as far as having children together, living in the same household, falls up under family violence. So simple battery, family violence, cruelty to children, and also theft by taking for the 2 keys, and also assault on an unborn child because she was 5 months pregnant at the time.
Okay, and why was he?
Miss Hagler, 1 second. Mr. Johnson, Miss Woods, I don't care if your video is on, but Mr. Johnson, your video has to remain on during the course of this hearing, sir. Please don't make me tell you that one more time.
And Judge, just for the record, we're in the courtroom. We're experiencing technical difficulties. I can't see anybody. I can hear what's going on, but there's a sort of an error message. It's just showing the Clayton County logo.
Yeah, that I see you just fine. So it's Clayton County that's having that issue, not Mr. Johnson.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying from my end, I cannot see anything going on.
Okay, well, I see y'all just fine in the courtroom, so you might want to if it's just that your video is not on, or if the or if the,
Okay, we have IT coming in.
okay, is it on both screens, the error message?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's an error message, but neither screen is showing the Zoom meeting. All I can do is hear.
Okay, well, we see you just fine. All right, go ahead, Ms. Hagler.
Yes, Your Honor. And why did you take out warrants for the cruelty to children?
Because the children were present during the admission of the crime, being battery,
Okay.
family violence.
Okay. Your Honor, I do not have any further questions for Officer Billingsley.
I have one question. Officer Billingsley, you stated that you had body cam operating at the time,
Yes, we should have body camera footage.
and the body camera footage would have recorded the statement made by Ms. Woods,
Correct.
and it would have shown her telling you the injuries that she suffered,
Correct.
and it would have shown the statement that she made regarding what she alleges Mr. Johnson did at the scene.
Yes, the body camera footage should show everything.
All right. All right, Mr. Lynch.
Yes, Officer Billingsley, you testified that Miss Woods informed you that this argument started when she observed a text message on my client's phone that was evidence of infidelity. Is that correct?
I can't say infidelity or not. I can say she was disturbed by text messages on the phone.
Okay, so she saw some text messages on her phone that made her upset. Would that be fair to say?
Correct.
Okay. You did not observe my client on the scene at any point, correct?
Correct. I didn't observe him on the scene. I never spoke to him.
You never spoke to him on the phone, correct?
Correct.
So that's all the questions I have for Officer Billingsley at this time.
Anything else, Ms. Hagler?
I'm not for Officer Billingsley.
All right, do you have anything else for this officer? Can he be excused?
Your Honor, he can be excused.
All right, thank you, Officer Billingsley. Be safe.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Officer.
Judge, I'm not sure what the state is trying to do next, but I have someone with the
Hi, Miss Crystal.
trying to help us with the computer here.
Miss Crystal, I can see y'all just fine. Mr. Lynch says y'all can't see anybody.
Okay, got you.
All right, does the state have another witness?
At this time, Your Honor, the state is going to rest. However, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Before the state does rest, I do want to put on the record and request the court take judicial notice of an order for bond that was signed by Judge Stephen N. Knights Jr. on June the 5th of 2022.
I would object. I think that can be introduced into the record, and I mean, it's attached to the motion as an exhibit, so I'm not sure why judicial notice would need to be taken.
Well, yes,
All
it is
right.
attached to the motion. So you do have a copy then.
Okay, what on the bond conditions, can you read to me who he is prohibited from having contact with?
So yes, Your Honor, on this particular bond condition, the defendant was prohibited from having contact with, I'm sorry. One second, Your Honor. Okay. So misspoke. The order was signed on July 27th of 2021, and he was prohibited to stay away absolutely directly or indirectly by mail, email, pager, telephone, or third person from the person, home, work, place, and immediate family members of any witness, including but not limited to Vashana Woods.
Okay. Any objection, Mr. Lynch?
No, Judge.
All right. All right, so the state is rested. Did the defense have anything that they wish to present on behalf of Mr. Johnson?
Judge, we're not going to present any evidence today. I just would like to make an argument.
All right. The state may go first, or did you wish to? It's up to you.
I can go after defense, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Lynch.
Judge, I believe that there's case laws that supports the contention that one of the things you can take into consideration when making a decision on bond is the likelihood of success at trial. Putting that aside for a moment, of course, you as the finder of fact have to determine the credibility of the witnesses. This own court has called Ms. Wood's credibility into question. She did set up here and testify that these events did not happen the way that they are alleged. And, that's what a trial is about, is to get to the bottom and to get to the truth of what actually happened. The officer is not able to establish that Mr. Takori Johnson was actually at that residence. Only evidence of that would be hearsay through, which I understand may be admissible in this proceeding, but its probative value is basically nothing.
It's not hearsay if a direct witness to the event testified and Ms. Woods testified.
She testified. Well, I didn't hear her testify that he was there at that day. She just said it did not happen. That was what her testimony was, Judge.
I get that, but the other side has an opportunity to rebut her testimony, but it's still evidence. It's not hearsay.
Well, I think my contention was that the statements about what happened would ordinarily be hearsay in this, and she didn't test it. And either way, she directly contradicted them on the record here today and said that these events did not happen.
Okay, but what she did not say was that he was not there.
She didn't say he was there either, Judge. And so, Judge, additionally, I would point out that this allegation that allegedly violated his bond took place February 11th of 2022. We are now days away from going into the year 2025, and this motion was not filed until very recently. And during the interim, Mr. Johnson has not picked up any additional charges that have been presented to this court. There have been no additional issues with his children or Ms. Woods. Ms. Woods obviously does not want his bond response, these cases to be dismissed, and for Mr. Johnson to be able to resume his role as, providing for their children that they have in common, Judge. And so we are respectfully requesting that because of the flat denial by the victim, that you take into consideration that, this is on the record, and the likelihood of success at trial is something that you can take into consideration, whether or not she's perjured herself or not. That's not something that I can know or you can know, but the credibility.
What are the Ayala factors, Mr. Lynch?
Judge, the Ayala factors are likelihood of flight, which there's been no evidence that he is likely to flee. He has likelihood to commit additional or likelihood to commit felonies while out on bond, while there's been no suggestion that he would commit felonies or no evidence of him committing any felonies.
Except, well, not felonies, but the allegation of battery against a pregnant woman is a misdemeanor of a high and aggravated nature.
Understood, Judge.
Right, continue.
What am I? I believe the seriousness of the offense is one of the factors.
Which I just stated, battery on a pregnant woman is a misdemeanor of a high and aggravated nature. Go on. And the likelihood to contact and tamper with witnesses.
Correct, Judge. And
all right.
I'm sorry, my memory was failing me as to that factor, but Judge, again, I don't believe that there has been any evidence that establishes that that is the case, especially considering the credibility issue that's been established as to Ms. Woods.
All right, Ms. Hackler?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly, Your Honor, we just ask that you revoke the defendant's bond, that he was given an order to not violate any laws or to have contact with them in this case. And per Officer Billington's testimony, he did have contact with her on February the 11th of 2022. Specifically, he caused injuries to the victim that were visible to the officer while on the scene. And not only that, he did commit the offenses of battery, family violence, stuff by taking cruelty to children and assault on an onboard child on that day as well. So based on officer's testimony, we just ask that you revoke the defendant's bond.
Now, normally I would say it's been a long time. He doesn't have any additional offenses. I'm kind of on the fence, but this is the issue that I have. I think that I just really feel like the testimony that Ms. Woods gave, I really feel like Mr. Johnson is still in the home. He's still there with her, currently violating the court order. So at this time, I feel like the factors have been met. Mr. Johnson had a bond order of July 27, 2021 that said he wasn't to have any contact with Ms. Fashana Woods. On July 11, 2022, her initial allegation was that he came back to the home. She reported this to the police. She called the police, first of all, and then reported this to the police that he beat her about the head and body, took her keys, her car keys and her home keys, left, and this occurred in front of the children. And there were visible injuries, and at the time that she was pregnant. So it seems like Mr. Johnson leaves Miss Woods with babies, and then he's out here doing what he want to do. So at this point, the court finds that there's sufficient evidence to establish that Mr. Johnson has violated his bond conditions in this case, and he should be taken into custody until such time as his cases are resolved.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
This case shows the devastating consequences of a family trapped in a cycle of harm. While one parent pleads for leniency, the evidence paints a far different picture, leaving the court with no choice but to intervene. But the real issue isn't just about today's ruling, it's the children caught in the middle. Will jail time be enough to address such a deeply fractured situation? Or is this family destined to repeat the same mistakes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gripping courtroom moments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.